That's very artist. Can you separate the art from the artist?
That is a very interesting question. Can you? Should you? I think it depends, right? And I'll use this quote from the Stoic devotional I'm currently reading. And the person goes, pillage from all sources, right? So he says, if a bad writer has a good line and there's wisdom there, why the fuck won't I take it, right? And so I think that it's a personal preference at the end of the day. Should you is a better question. Can you? Yes, you definitely can. But should you? In some cases, and it also depends on like the moral code you stand by,
Yeah,
right?
true.
So
True.
I am very ethical. I like to think that I am. But I also am confident in the fact that I'm an asshole as well. So there are some lines that are just like hard limits for me. For example, fucking R. Kelly. Like the storm is over. I loved that shit. Like my mom used to pause the whatever to get the lyrics down, and but like you cannot be fucking raping children. Like go and do your storm somewhere else. I'm not going to jam. Chris Brown, on the other hand, who beat Rihanna, and the reason why I'm going to get into trouble.
Wow.
Allegedly.
You know, if they do that kind of thing now, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Bro, I mean, that, she hits him as well. So, but let's not go there.
We don't already reach there.
Let's not go there.
Ah,
Allegedly.
must me.
I mean, bro,
Like,
like that OP,
Took the wind
nobody
out
ever,
of my sails. Like,
nobody ever knew
Have-
bro. I feel like
ah,
it was both ways, but Chris Brown is a dude now. It would go down for it. But go on.
No. There's no more on to be going through.
Go
No.
on.
I
I
can't come
mean, she
back
hit him
from
as
that.
well now. I'm sure she hit him.
You're
It's
sure?
Even, yeah.
Allegedly.
It was even he
I
literally
mean,
said.
Solange hit Jay-Z and he did
Come on, stop that.
What?
Those are two different situations.
How?
Wait, hold on. Let me finish, right? I do not think that, and I think Jaji knows this, I do not think that there's any excuse for hitting another human being. For hitting a child, for hitting like a woman, man, on whatever spectrum, on whatever point in the spectrum that you are, just zero, right? But I also, and my favorite word is nuance, right? Context matters a lot. And so it's entirely different when, and it also, and so the thing I was trying to explain why I now listen to Chris Brown again is, so look at that context, for example, Rihanna obviously, like she gives a fuck because like she survived it, but it's not something that I think actively, what is the word I'm looking for now? I think she has expended the trauma. Like she felt her feelings, she went through it, and she's at a place where, fuck it, make your music or whatever. So if the person who was the primary victim has that feeling, then I think that I can jam it, right? I still think she's a fucking asshole. But that song with Wizkid is very...
Did they charge?
Slaps.
Did they charge him though?
Yes, I think so. He got probation and a bunch
I know
of
he went
things.
to jail.
And
Was that what it was?
there's like been repetitions, right? He's had other girlfriends that the other one, what's her name? Yes, she put placed like a restraining. So there's obviously a history, right, of violence. And then you also have to bring in the mental health issue as well. And another problem is a lot of people when they think about
Go ahead.
when they think about mental health, right? And I live with debilitating depression, by the way, and anxiety. When the harm you're inflicting is on yourself, it's easier for people to stomach, right? Because you are the primary victim.
Yeah.
But when it manifests like Kanye with like just all of the alleged, since that's our favorite word here, emotional manipulations, right? Or how do you say XX10?
Tentacion.
Yes, sorry,
Yes.
I'm a boomer, right? And it's like outright violence. I think that when you are judging with context, you shouldn't then just say, oh, they are abusers. They are, right? But there are also people with mental health issues. And I think when you criminalize without rehabilitating, it's just going to fucking happen again. How did we get here?
Yeah, but do you think people just like are very quick to chalk down their own problems to mental issues?
I think it's a thing with the analogy I can use is the false rape accusations as well. I think that if somebody were to gather the data, you would find that it's like a small amount of people who are doing that. And you also have to understand that you can be born with a mental health disorder, but it can also progress as a result of your environment and like trauma, right? And so I think that a person who's actively going through life may be okay mentally today and shit happens tomorrow, right? And that just places a big dent. So I don't know that, and because it is an invisible disability, I don't know that we have enough data to then say, oh, so you are faking it, but you are not. So I think it's just a common sense thing as well. Assume that people are decent, but if a person is obviously a dickhead, then they're a dickhead.
Yeah, but how do you separate exactly what you said? How do you separate who is a dickhead from who is just
So it's a bunch of things. First of all, do you guys want to stop playing that whatever? Because I feel like it's distracting.
Well, I mean, it's fine. I just saw.
Man, that's what not me.
No, obviously, like
Okay. I think it's like a thing where it's sensory input, right? So when you are it's vibe checks as well. Like you when you're getting, and I hate that I cannot use more quantifiable language, right? But you're observing, right? A good measure I use is what's the person's relationship with accountability. So if it's a person that when they fuck up, it's everybody's fault but theirs, you're probably a dickhead, right? Yeah. But if it's a person who can hold themselves accountable or at least think that they have a responsibility in the fuck up, then I am more likely to, obviously this isn't a science, but I think just paying close attention and trusting your intuition, but also just assuming the best, to be very honest, to everything in moderation, so to an extent.
I agree, because with X, bro, X had like very terrible childhood.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if
you came with violence, but he did try.
Tried
at least publicly. You never really know, but
it's not an excuse though. Yeah, but like,
benefit of the doubt, he did seem like he was trying to work through that trauma and even trying to be a messenger. So I have to respect that too, because it takes a lot for you to be that dickhead and not want to use it as a badge of honor, but be like, yeah, I'm a dickhead. It is wrong.
But with Kanye though, did Kanye come out?
I understand what she means by manipulation. I mean, look at what he did to what he was doing to yeah.
Well, but that dude was also. I don't mind. Was also,
what I mind is Cudi. Because Cudi is like
skits. But Cudi skits. Well, skits like it was like
that one is kind of fair, kind of.
No,
but
I mean, because skits was also.
Yes, I understand that.
No, Cudi personally.
But again, you guys have to understand that this person is ill. Right?
Oh, yeah. But Kanye is someone who can have access to the best help. And we have seen him turn down help.
Yes, but
we've seen Kanye be given meds and say, oh, they want me on the meds and I don't want to take the meds.
Wait, but can I say something?
Meds not the way to treat.
But he has access to treatment. He's the one turning.
Oh, meds is a very big part of treatment. Yeah. Big part. It's not like it doesn't work alone, right? But can I say something? So I can't speak to bipolar disorder, right? Because that's not my diagnosis. But to a large extent, they get to a point where, say, I'm on antidepressants, right? I've been for a really long time. The first time I got on antidepressants, I started to get better at some point. And then things got so manageable that I convinced myself I no longer needed them. That happens quite often. And you're like, okay, I'm good now. Because we're constantly, it's a really tough pill to swallow if you want to think that. And with mental illnesses like this, it's a chronic illness. It's not going anywhere. For the rest of your life, you are sick. And that's a very tough pill to swallow. So people just want to cling to the hope that they can get cured, right? And so when you get to a point where like everything is going right in your life, you are managing, you're self-regulating, you're like, fuck it. Because meds have side effects as well.
Yeah, that's what
a huge reason why I'm so chunky is because of my meds, right? And my therapist will tell you that portion control, but I'm blaming the meds, right? And so him saying he doesn't need meds is an extension of him being ill. And I'm not trying to absolve him of like responsibility. But it's the thing I'm saying about nuance. Like, we cannot flatten issues. So, and with the Pete Davidson thing as well. Yeah, most people think Pete is a dickhead. I don't, right? But most people do. And I'm like, okay, Pete can be a dickhead and Kanye can be manipulative. And all of those things can exist. Yeah. And they typically do, because life is, again, you guys are going to get tired of this word. But it's very nuanced.
Do you think Kim played any part in that?
Played any part in what?
Like, maybe, I don't want to say angering, but like,
How dare she?
But
I
then
don't
his
know.
kids, he's their father too.
I get where
Kanye's
I get where Kanye. I mean, yeah, was coming from because first of all, Pete has like a history of just pedophilic jokes and a bunch of jokes.
He's got one joke, right?
I mean, like even a bunch of like. There's a bunch of tweets that I don't know if it could have been fake, but him just like spark.
Well,
I mean,
that wasn't Kanye's main issue. Kanye's main issue was how dare Kim date someone, right?
I mean that's just what we thought his issue was.
Kanye
did not come out and say that. Oh my, he was always saying his kids.
Yeah,
he was trying to get his wife.
Yeah, he was always saying his
he
kids,
was trying to get his family back. Yeah,
his kids,
oh,
his kids. Like
really?
they do let him see his kids.
You don't mean it? Wow.
I mean, he has.
I mean, the same way we feel like his whole aim was, trying to get Kim back. The same way we also think that.
Oh no! My thing is, I don't particularly have an opinion about this because at the end of the day, nobody has stable electricity in my country.
True.
So like, go they do your thing for that. It's for laughs.
But
like,
it's still a conversation though, because because it says a lot about
like
mental health,
not having electricity, like literally when they take light. Instant depression.
Yes,
so like
I understand that.
Conversations, they don't. It's like it's the world now. We need all of these things. We need
need is a strong word.
We need art.
We need
Kanye dissing Pete's art.
It's his personal life that's playing out on the screen.
Like, listen,
he chose that life, but as well, like
without these guys, there will be no entertainment. It'll just be
I don't know.
I mean, it sucks, but that's just
we'd be dueling each other's and shit.
Fuck.
Bro, what the fuck, man?
Fuck you, me.
That doesn't represent
You are
the views of Nice to Have You.